Thank you for joining us today, Abhishek. And I'd like to welcome our Instagram family as well to this exciting session from Shiksha Study Abroad. So, we are having this session with Abhishek as a panelist. He's a student at TU Dublin, Technological University Dublin, and he's pursuing his MSc in computer science, majoring in data science. So, he'll be sharing his overall journey today with us as to how his life has been studying abroad, especially in Ireland, and what are the challenges he has faced as a student over experience. So thanks again, Abhishek, for joining us today for this session. So if we can start you with your brief introduction, that and students will get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, so hi, I am Abhishek and I am from India, of course, and I am currently studying as a master's student in TU Dublin University in Ireland. My current course, already mentioned, it's MSc in computer science, and my major is data science. And I have almost 6 years of experience before coming here. So yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, that's great. So also the students, I'll request you in case if you have any questions, I'll be starting to ask a few questions to Abhishek regarding his journey overall. In case even if you have certain questions that you want to ask Abhishek regarding studying in Ireland, or in case if you have any specific doubts, you can put it in the comment section or the chat box. So we'll be taking up your questions at the end of the session. Great. So Abhishek, like, why did you decide studying abroad? Like, this was a sudden plan, or you had pre-planned it that you want to study abroad, you want to do your masters, and why did you select Ireland as a study destination?
Yeah, so first of all, it was not a sudden decision. I always wanted to do a master's, but after since I've been working for 5 to 6 years, but then I thought like my growth is now stopped, so I wanted to pursue further education so that I can grow into the field which is like data science is a growing field. So that's why I decided to go with the master's in that field, and I chose Ireland because mainly two reasons. Because the time duration here is like around 1 year only. I can complete my master's if had chosen
Yeah.
other countries such as US, so it takes 2 years there. The second reason was Ireland. I preferred Europe over other countries. And Ireland is the only country in EU where English is the main language which they converse in. So it's easier for me to get here rather than countries like Germany where I had to learn German, or if I go to France, I had to learn French and other languages to work there. So for now, I preferred Ireland because of these two reasons mainly.
Okay, that's great. And like, can you share about your bachelor's? What did you pursue in your bachelor's, and why did you select computer science as a master's degree? And
Yeah,
specifically, you are specializing in data science. So, any specific reason you went for data science? Because
yeah.
Ireland
So
data science is popular, like it's one of the most popular courses available. So you went for data science regarding that itself, or you had other options available?
yeah. So first of all, I went with data science because I already have like 6 years of experience with data migration, which I was working on, and I that's why I wanted to pursue formal education in the same field so that I can move further up the ladder. And sorry, what was the other question? I missed it.
I was asking, you went for data science, right? So you selected your specialization as data science, and students know that data science is one of the most popular courses in Ireland. So you had planned for data science itself, or you went for data science because you wanted to go to that field as it's a popular. There are good opportunities for placement and internships later on.
I, so Ireland actually is a kind of hub for Europe. So here the opportunities for data science are immense because there are multiple data centers here from Google, Facebook, and other huge giants. The data centers are here. The
Yeah.
opportunities are also really good for. Also, you get like it is one of the critical skills. So from that perspective, if you want to settle in future here, it's also a good choice. So that is why those are the major I chose data science here. But other options,
That
sorry, for other option I also was looking for was business analytics, but it was like my second choice. But since I got data science, so I went for that one.
Okay, great. And it's a very popular option in Dublin as well, because most of the tech giants are based in like nearby Dublin and in Dublin, right? So there are good scope and job opportunities as well. Great. And so how's your experience been with TU Dublin? as a university. So how would you rate the campus life and how's the faculty and academics there?
Yeah, so I really like my university. Like the academics is really great here. Comparing to my bachelor's, it is like there is no comparison, to be honest. And the faculties are also very like good, and they are really talented. And the way they teach you, it's awesome. Like you cannot, you never probably studied in a bachelor's like this rigorously. So here the focus is more on practical aspect rather than on the theoretical, which I mostly went through in my bachelor. So I prefer this way of learning rather than that one. So yeah, it's overall it's a great experience, and the campus is also awesome. So
Okay,
like
great.
you get a really good thing, like the labs and everything. You get access to lots of, with your student ID, you can get access to lots of resources which you generally do not get. You have to pay and all that. So yeah, that is also a plus.
Okay, that's great. And how is the faculty? Is the faculty helpful? Like they are helpful towards international students, and you get extra classes in case if you have any doubts. Do they counsel you with the doubts as well later on in case if you need some help?
Yeah, so like my class is mostly comprised of international students. Like more, I think we are more than 60-70% of us are international students, and only 30% are Irish students.
Hmm.
And the faculty are really helpful. Whenever you need any kind of support, you can definitely reach out to them. Even in the middle of night, they will generally respond within a day or so. And even if you are having some trouble understanding assignments, or if you have trouble understanding whatever they taught, they will make sure that they will make you understand until you until you get what they are teaching. So yeah, they faculty are really good.
Okay, that's great. Good to know that the faculty is quite helpful. Apart from that, like the major concern that we get to hear from Ireland is accommodation. So, is accommodation a very big challenge in Ireland, and did you face a lot of trouble while finding accommodation? Because that is one of the major topics that are being discussed for Ireland. So, how was
Yeah,
your experience related to
accommodation is really a challenge here. Like, but my experience was good. But otherwise, the people who I know, who are my friends, who never who did not book it in advance, or who booked like a temporary accommodation
accommodation?
in hope for it after coming here, it is really a challenge for them. And also it's very costly to find an accommodation here. So I will suggest, like, if you want to book an accommodation, book it early, and if you can afford it, rather go for a student accommodation, because they are really good. And they are costly, but the facilities you get there are really good. So, and also you will have a place to stay rather than coming here and then struggling to find a place to stay. But yeah, accommodation crisis is a real challenge here. People are still struggling after like 2 months of coming here. People are still struggling, juggling between temporary accommodations, and they haven't found anything permanent yet.
Hmm. So, like, are there any particular websites that you refer to before moving to Ireland? Like, how did you apply and how did you look for accommodations? Because there are options like Facebook groups available, but I have heard that some students got like there were some fraud activities also going on where people ask for money and later on they find out that there's no accommodation. So, to prevent that, do you suggest any website to the student that you referred while looking for accommodation before moving to Ireland?
Uh, Yeah, if you're looking for a student accommodation, I would rather suggest like go to directly the student accommodation website only. But if you want to search what all are available, you
Hmm.
can check out university and Amber student. Those two are good. But still, I will suggest like go to directly to the student accommodation website and apply there. And if you're looking for a house to rent or a room to rent with a host family, I'll suggest to go with dev.ie and rent.ie. But do not pay until you are sure like that accommodation is legit. And to check that out, I will suggest you ask somebody you know in Ireland or Dublin, wherever you are going. So just ask them to visit the place once, verify that it is legit, that place actually exists. The person you are talking to is actually the person who has given the listing. Because many people got
Exactly.
scammed that way. Like accommodation actually
Hmm.
exists, but it is not advertised it for rent. So yeah, that is also one thing you need to keep in mind.
Okay, great. And like coming to the accommodation again, like what are the expenses that a student needs to bear? So like what's the rent that you are paying and like does it include utilities and what all benefits are given to you? So like if you have calculated an approx spending that you do a month on the accommodation and the utility, so what's the amount that you spend?
So if you are living at a student accommodation like me, so it will be around at least you will need to shell out around $1,000, but it can go as high as 1,200 per month. But and it includes
Hmm.
all the utility, electric, gas, Wi-Fi, etc. And if you are living in a with a
Okay.
host family, it could be a bit cheaper. Like you can get it for 600 or 700 euros on an average, and then around 100 for utilities.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's around the average of all the costs that you will incur.
Okay. So Dublin is like comparatively expensive to other cities in Ireland, or like
Uh,
because okay, Dublin is comparatively expensive. Okay.
it's expensive.
And because considering 1000 is quite a, yeah, it'll be a challenge for a student that comes up directly. And so, how do you
Yes.
cope up with your expenses there? Do you work part time? Like we know that it's allowed 20 hours to work in a week. So, like, have you worked part time, and what's the maximum pay that you got? Like, if you can share your experience related to
Yeah.
part time jobs.
Yes. So finding part time is not that difficult, but it could be difficult if you have a schedule like me. So like I have 5 days classes. Some students have 3 days classes. So and my schedule is really scattered over the day. Sometimes I have 9 a.m. classes. Sometimes I have 3 p.m. classes. So that if you have a scattered
Mm-hmm.
schedule, it will be hard to find a part. Other than that, you can still apply at university jobs. So that's what I did. I am currently applied for the research assistant job, and I will start next week. But other than that, you can
Okay.
really get the job easily if your schedule is not that scattered. So, some of my friends are currently working, and it's they work for like 5 to 6 hours per day for 2 to 3 days. So it's like 17 to 18 hours per week,
Okay.
and the pay you get generally minimum pay 10.5. But some places they generally give you more pay if you are working evening shifts or late night shifts. So it can go up to 12 or
Hmm.
13 euros. But those are relatively hard to find.
Okay, that's great. So average would be about 10 to 10.5 that you can earn on an hourly basis.
Uh,
Okay, that's
will
great.
get yeah.
Mhm. And how's the weather? Like, I know you won't, like, is it somehow comparable to India? Like, once you went there, was it easy to adjust, or is it on a very colder side? So, how was your
Uh,
experience with the weather there?
yeah, it's not really comparable to India because it can rain anytime. Like even if it's sunny, after 5 minutes it might start raining. So you will always have
Okay.
to keep a rain jacket with you because it can rain anytime, and it's really windy here.
Hmm.
Uh, in terms of cold, yeah, it can get cold and it can get hot. Like right now, it's very cold today. It's around I think 6 or 7 degrees. It was yesterday, so it could be cold for
Hmm.
people who are not used. And but generally, it's not that much cold. Like for me, it's not that cold. And but if it gets windy, then yeah, it gets really worse. Like you cannot go out, and also because during the winters the sun goes down early. Like yesterday only, I think around 4 p.m. it went dark, so it felt like it's 7 or 8 p.m. So because the sun sets really early, so yeah, it can get really cold. I think during the November and December month.
Okay. So as per you, there's no as such fixed like atmosphere or temperature there. It can get like suddenly change. Like
Yeah, some like a few days when I arrived during September, it was normal temperature. Then it got really cold, and at the end of October, it got hot again, and again like last couple of days, it's gotten cold again. So yeah, the temperature varies a lot. The rain is constant. Rain can
okay,
happen anytime, even if it's outside. You think like let's go outside, and it can rain after 10 minutes. You never know.
okay, that's great. And like how's the transportation facility there? So like do you live nearby to the university? Do you use public transport? And like what's the cost?
Yeah, public transport is relatively really good than compared to India. I am not sure about Delhi or other metropolitans. Maybe the metro is better there, but relative to other places in India, it's
Mhm.
really good. So like they have
Hmm.
majorly three modes of tours, which is basically tram line, and then buses, and the DART, which is for longer distances. So it's generally one.
Hmm.
I think the maximum cost for in traveling anywhere is €1, or maybe I think in DART it's €2. So for students, you can get a leap card. A leap card is kind of like a transport card which you can get after getting your student ID, and there is student discount on it. So that in tram you can travel for like 65 cents only, and in the buses it takes €1. And if you want to go bike, so bike is in the bicycle, so you can get a subscription of Dublin bikes thing. So if there is a station nearby you, it's really helpful. It's 35 euros annual subscription, and first 30 minutes of that bicycle is free. I
Okay.
mean, 30 minutes is more to roam around anywhere. So you can get it and park it to another station, and you can travel there. So it's really cheap, and the tram and buses are really frequent. Some buses are in an hour, but most buses are generally minutes. The frequency is there. So
Okay, that's great. So it's and like how's in like being an international student, do you feel safe and like have you faced any sort of racism or any person who has been very rude to you like due to you being Indian? So have you faced any sort of
no.
scenario, you know?
Since now I never faced
Okay.
any racism. But like even I come back home from my friend's place in the night, it's not a problem. And I generally go
Okay.
everywhere walking, so never faced any such kind of issues. I heard like the people face such issues, but I personally never faced them.
Okay. So apart from that, number of Indian students who are studying in your class. So like if you can give us a approx number so that we can get to know like what's the Indian diaspora there. Like for example, if there are
So
100 students in your class, how many Indians would be studying?
yeah, so in my class it's like 15 students only. Out of that, I think we have 5 or 6 Indian students. 3 or 4 are from different countries like Germany and France, etc. And 4 or 5 of them
Mm-hmm.
are Irish. It's distributed.
Okay. Okay. So you have a multicultural like diversity, the people coming across from different countries and cultures. Okay, that's great. So that would obviously help you to gain practical experience as well as like make build up on your communication skills and learn new things and cultures. So that's a great
Yes.
thing. And how is the placement? Like, do TU Dublin help with placements to students once you complete your course? And do you have any idea what's the pay once a student completes his or her masters there? Like, what's the placement package that they can get there?
Yeah, so they are for the students who do not have any experience, they have something called a graduate program here. So you can apply as soon as in your first
Mhm.
semester only. Basically, for students who
Okay.
have no experience, so they will kind of get training. It's you can consider it kind of a paid internship because the pay is low relative to the if you are
Mhm.
going for working. But then you can get a job as soon as when you are in first semester. So that is a good thing here. Other than that,
Mhm.
if you has like at least 1 or 2 year experience is there, so then you can get around the average pay I think here is 45,000 euros. But if you are in IT like in data science field or something like that, then you can get around on an
Mhm.
average 65 to 70. And if you are really good, if you have more experience, you can go for jobs with 100K and above. So that's also there.
Okay, that's quite good. So
Yeah.
the package is obviously on a very good side. So the
Yeah.
return on investment that a student would expect is on a very good side. So like what's the fees, average fees that you're bearing there, and like did you get any sort of scholarship also from TU Dublin on your course fees?
My course fees is around 22,000 euros, and but other colleges might be more expensive. I'm not aware about what the fees of other colleges is, but mine is 22,000 euros for my course.
Okay, okay. And did they offer some sort of scholarship as well or bursary to help you out with the fees?
I did not get any kind of scholarship, but I think there is one which is called Government of Ireland scholarship. You can apply for it. I am not sure what the basis of that scholarship is because I did not know about it and I did not apply. But yeah, there is one scholarship which I am aware, which is GOI. But there are some, they have some kind of
Mhm.
tie-ups with companies. Like there is one with Intel. So if you are electronics and communication students, then maybe you apply for that scholarship. If you are going for some environmental course, then there is a scholarship for that. So it generally most of the scholarships that they offer are course based. Like if you are going for this particular course, they have tie-up with some organization who offer you the scholarships.
Okay, that's great. And so, like coming to the fun part, do you travel also from Ireland? Because everybody in back in India, when you were also in India, you would have thought that traveling once you get to any particular European country, you have a free. travel to nearby countries. Like you can go to Germany or Spain. So like have you traveled to nearby country, or like what are the popular destinations that you prefer traveling to? And how is it? Is it easy to go to another country just from like Ireland if you want to travel to UK, or if you want to travel to other parts like France or Germany? So what's the process? And have you done that personally?
Uh, so I actually arrived 2 months back only, so I didn't get a time to travel to Europe. And since I don't have a Schengen visa, I will need to apply Schengen visa to go to Germany, France, or
Uh,
any other Schengen countries. But Ireland is not a
okay.
part of Schengen, and if you travel to UK, you need to apply
Hmm.
for a visa. I think really quite simple. You get it. It comes within 2 to 3 weeks if you apply from here, because a friend of mine applied. And even traveling to other Schengen get problematic, because of a couple of friends which I knew who were here for 2 3 years, so they applied for Schengen and they easily went over there. The flights are really cheap because,
Okay.
I can give one example. There's a game society in TU Dublin, and they went over to Barcelona for some kind of competition. It was €100 all inclusive,
Okay,
inclusive of
that's
flights,
great.
like accommodation, days, meals inclusive.
Hmm.
So it's really cheap to travel across Europe.
So that's great. So obviously you have just been there for 2 months, so hopefully like you will be traveling to other cities and sharing your experiences.
Yeah.
So that's great. And like since IT is one of the most popular sectors we know in Ireland, other like what other sectors are on a boom in Ireland that you can look up to? Like in case if they want to study a certain course, so which particular sectors are on boom apart from IT that you can suggest them?
Apart only I know only about the finance sector, which is really at boom here. If you are working anywhere in finance, it's really good for you here, because some of my friends are pursuing their masters in finance related fields. So that is a good option, and I
So,
think MBA is also a good option if you want to pursue that from here.
okay, that's good. So, we have covered almost all the topics, Abhishek. So, I guess students haven't posted any sort of question. Most of the questions that student ask, we have almost covered all the topics. Coming, like, there's one major topic that is left to be discussed is healthcare. So, like, how is the healthcare facilities there? And like, do you get insurance? Obviously, like there'll be an insurance cover that you have opted to, and like, what sort of facilities are being provided to international students in case if there's some sort of emergency?
If you are in case of emergency, I think you can simply visit the emergency room and hopefully they will tend to you. But from my experience is, if you call an ambulance, it's really hard. They are really slow if it's not an emergency. So
Hmm.
healthcare, I will suggest not get sick here. It will be better because it's very expensive
Okay.
as well. But for us in my university, they have a doctor on site, so we can visit them any time of the day. And even if we want after hours, they have given which we can call. I never need to use it, but I think it is available there. So if your university provides it, a GP, it's great, but otherwise it's really expensive. Even if you have to visit some GP, you will need to take an appointment in advance and then you can visit. So that is a problem, because they have kind of a social healthcare system here, which does not obviously apply to us. We have to opt for, I think minimum we need to go for a $30,000 cover for it. So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you haven't had or heard like good experiences related to healthcare, but
Uh,
obviously that is one necessity that the student has to look up to. So
yeah.
hopefully nobody has to go through such a situation that they need very emergency situations from there, right? And like since Diwali just went by, I know you were there. You were feeling up. You must be feeling a bit homesick because this obviously this would have been the first time that you were not with your family. So like did you and your friends celebrate Diwali, and like did you find Indian people there? Like
Uh,
how is the community back in Ireland, Indian community? So do they celebrate festivals, and did you go out on Diwali?
yeah, so Diwali, I like mostly went to the house parties which my friends organized. But other than that, I also went to one of the parties that was organized at my university only. It was around like 50 people something.
Mhm.
With they organized all fest kind of thing for the Diwali celebrations, and there were actually quite a lot of Diwali celebrations here. There's some Indian society as well, so they celebrated Diwali event in the city center somewhere. I didn't go there, but yeah, I heard about it. So there were quite a few. for Diwali. Like there is a huge Indian community here, and they do celebrate the different festivals.
So the Indian community is quite active back there. So
Yeah,
obviously that would be quite helpful because just going to a different country and like obviously anybody would feel a bit homesick because the way that you have been living with your family and in your culture, so you will have to adapt to it, right? So that's quite good
yeah,
that the Indian community is quite active there. So that's very good to know. So I'll request the students to post in any questions in case if they want to ask or if they have any query with Abhishek. Any question, Abhishek? And mostly we have covered almost all the topics. Again, so we can end the session for today. And thank you again for joining us, taking out your like valuable time. I know you would have been busy with your like work and everything, but again, thanks a lot for taking out your valuable time for us and hope to catch up with you soon again on a similar session with Shiksha
yeah,
Study
sure.
Abroad. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Abhishek. Have a
Definitely.
great day.